Everyone, Shiv here. Alright, so I am back from my procedure. Still not completely 100%. Doing better. And I'll get better. Thank you everybody for the love and support. Alright, so without further ado, the show must go on. Alright, so we're into week 2 of the Tavern Brawl. So first week we had pre-made decks, had to fight against each other. It was pretty self-explanatory. One was a more control-y handlock style. The other was a more ramped out zoo type of playstyle. It's actually quite interesting that they combined some interesting concepts to make that work. But it worked. It was a lot of fun. So this week is a design brawl. What this means is they give you a certain parameter and you build within that parameter. The parameter here was actually very, very mild in comparison to what they could have done. The parameter was whenever one of your minions dies, you get a banana. Which, by the way, killing it on your turn gives you a banana. Yeah. So, it's kind of cool. But it's not just your typical King Mukla banana. That is in there. There's actually 4 bananas. You got the Mukla version, the 1-1, that we all know. You've got the Super Banana, a 2-2 banana. That's something that me and Noxious actually introduced in one of the previous Mechtorks workshops. Cool to see yet another thing we came up with actually enter into the game. You've got the deal 1 damage banana, and you've got the flip the stats banana. Okay, so 4 bananas, all of them cost 1 mana. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do with that really easily. Great ways of exploiting it. So we're going to take a look at 3 decks that are out there that you could play, 2 of which are pretty much standardized ones or variations of ones we see on the ladder, and one is one that's actually coming back into play from the golden age of Hearthstone, with a few minor adaptations that I made to it. So alright, let's kind of get this started. Alright, the first deck we're going to be taking a look at is, yes, it is a zoo inspired deck. This is pretty much zoo in a nutshell. There's a couple differences here. You generally don't see Argent Squires that much anymore. And a Noyotron is like a very rare thing. But other than that, the deck is almost 100% zoo. Yes, I know. There's no Dr. Boom. There's no Mal'Ganis. There's no lot of things here. But this is paramount to a zoo deck. This does work. It does work quite often. If you can get enough of a board out against pretty much any class, you'll almost always win, to be perfectly honest with you, because inevitably they'll actually have to trade into your minions. Here you're only going to want to play 1 minion at a time and just build and just keep going face. Push face as much as possible. The really cool thing is the only time you really have to trade is with, say, a Nerubian egg. Alright, just to break it and get a free banana. Okay, and that's actually pretty damn cool, to be perfectly honest with you. You build up your board and you just go to town. Now Tempo Mage will give you a little bit of heartache, and any Paladin running equality will give you a little bit of heartache, and you'll actually have to take some damage going through your deck, but that's pretty much expected. It's a simple deck, pretty easy to follow, pretty fun to play, and it works. Alright. Moving along to the second deck. Oh, yes, Tempo. Yeah, you know, let's give the players a bunch of free 1-mana spells. What's the first thing they're going to gravitate to? Tempo. Now, I've seen a lot of variants of this. Most of them are using, like, Antonidas and Gazlo, and yeah, sure, cool, that works. This is my more simplified version. It's very much all about straight up rush face damage. You'll never really have to worry about much here. The only things you're really going to be trading is most likely the Nerubian egg. The reason why Nerubian egg is in there is so many times I was getting the reverse the stats on a minion that Nerubian Egg just made so much sense, and having it in here also really helpful. It provides a really decent threat that your opponents have to deal with. Alright, mirror image in there. This guy is so damn good. Before they can even damage your face, they're already giving you 2 bananas. Alright. So you got your Clockwork Dome, for the same reason why it's in Tempo Mage, and pretty much everything else is very much Tempo Mage. We just cut off the back end of it. We literally stopped at the Fireball. Now you'll notice that there's also a Mind Control tech. This is one of my own little things that I like, because we're already running the 2 mirror entities, and just in case you do get overwhelmed, grabbing one of their things that might or might not be boosted can really be helpful. With this, I played 10 games, won 6. So it's a very, very solid deck. And it pretty much snowballs right out the bat. The Zoo deck, played 10 games, won 6 as well. So, I mean, they're definitely on par with each other in many ways. Alright. So the third and final deck is a personal creation of mine that I just kind of threw out there because I kept thinking, you know, there's some way I can really exploit the hell out of this. So, as I said, I went back to Hearthstone history and pulled out a Shockedin deck. Yes, Shockedin. Alright, so we've got Blessing of Might, which kind of seems like meh, considering we're getting bananas anyway, but it's going to do more damage. Alright, so keep that in mind. Abusive Sergeants, trade value, Argent Squire, trade value, Leopardome, because, wow, the value you get out of this. 2 damage, and you're getting another damn banana. Alright, South Sea Deckhand. In a pinch can be played on turn 1, but since we've got 3 different weapons in this deck, you'll almost always be able to play this and have them instantly charge, which is a good thing, especially with all the bananas. Argent Protector, to give our boosted up guys a little bit of protection. Iron Beak Owl, to remove their super strong guy and or taunt. After all, this is an aggro deck. Knife Juggler, because we're running Muster for Battle. And we spawn tokens, and we have a lot of low drops, and it just made sense. Shielded Minibot. It's an amazing 2-drop. Alright, Coghammer. Okay, so we get to give Divine Shield and Taunt. Now, this might seem a little counterproductive because people are going to be able to get, like, a banana, sacking stuff into it. But at the same time, it's kind of cool, too, because if we already got a big-ass minion or medium-sized minion, we can give it a Divine Shield, give it a Taunt. That way they can't just, you know, throw a spell at it and kill it. And then we can buff it up some more and things of that nature. So I really like this concept. Divine Favor. Okay, so your opponents are going to be trading into you as you're trading into their face. This is, like I said, a very aggressive deck. You're almost always going to go to the face. And eventually they're going to realize they cannot win the race. So they're going to start, like, trying to take out your guys. And they're going to lose guys as well. And because you're going to be playing your bananas pretty quickly because this deck plays extremely fast, you're going to actually have a hand deficit versus them. They'll probably have more cards in their hand than they're normally used to. And what this means is you'll get a really good pull off Divine Favor. This is kind of like when people played Mukla turn 3 and then followed it up with a Divine Favor the next turn, because they knew they were going to get value. Or they waited till turn 6, went Mukla, Divine Favor, and got a huge draw. Same basic principle applies here, but because we don't actually need Mukla, yeah. Alright. Muster for Battle, because Knife Jugglers are here. We get a weapon, which will synergize with the South Sea Deckhand, and we get to spawn a bunch of fuel to make more bananas. Alright, Wolf Rider, because 3 damage to the face is good, and it's going to die pretty quickly, thus generating more bananas. Defender of Argus. We got so many little low pesky guys here. Being able to give them another stat boost, plus some shield, will end up protecting us and still make us highly aggressive. Pilot Shredder, because it's like the best 4-drop in the game. Leroy Jenkins because he's Leroy fucking Jenkins. Alright? I should not have to explain why this is here. Um, Basically, if you'll most likely never really need Leroy, but in a pinch, just in case, you got him. Alright? He's a walking fireball for 1 mana more. And because we're running Blessing of Mights and Abusive Sergeants, he could easily clock up to some serious damage. Combine that with the bananas and everything, you could get a lot of value out of Leroy in this. Alright, so these are the 3 decks that I highly recommend. The Paladin one, I took initially for 5 games. It won all 5 of the first games. Dropped the 6th, won the 7th, won the 8th, dropped the 9th, won the 10th. That is not bad, ladies and gentlemen. I think the secret here is just the burst card draw always gave me the options I needed to defeat my opponent. And I think that's what really set this deck apart from some of the other ones. The Warlock has to tap to get options. The Mage, several variants of them are running double Arcane Intellect, and that's about it. So they're still only getting like 4 cards off the card draw, and they're having to sack 2 off it. Where here, I can easily get the same amount of cards for 1 card draw spell. So to me, it makes a lot more sense, and it works a lot better. So yeah, I stand by the whole Shakadin being really good here. So yeah, here's the decks. I really hope you enjoy it. But for the tempo one, I mean, there's lots of different variants of tempo mage out there. If you look on Hearthstone, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. Same with Zoo. Zoo is pretty much standard across the board. In the description, I will be providing a link to this Shakadin variant that I've made here with a little bit of a guide. So if you like the deck, want to learn a little bit about the strategy, which the strategy is really simple. Of greed is good. It basically play like you're deliberately trying to overextend your hand and then refill. So if you really need to understand how an aggro pally works, this would be a really good time to learn it. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like these videos, please like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. You got any other decks that would do good? Put them down in there. Please use Hearthstone or whatever deck builder you're using. Please do not link to pictures, but Hearthstone and stuff, that's fine. Till next time, stay safe, have fun, and I am feeling a lot better. Thank you everybody for all the support you gave me while I was going through my little crisis of having to go through a medical procedure. Thank you all, I appreciate it, but stay safe, have fun, and may RNGesus bless you.